ask question after people find out I'm from Alaska. They're like, wait, hold on, we there? And I'm like, yeah, we there heavy. Not too heavy, but you know, we there. You know what I'm saying? Last month, I had a Storytime video that went super viral that I did not expect to go viral. And the most moment of the video, besides who it was about, was me being from Alaska. And honestly, I get it. There was a lot of information going on in that video. I tend to drop off that piece of information and just go about my business. And you guys were like, girl, slow down. We need to discuss that. So we're gonna get into it. Let's talk about growing up Black in Alaska. Apologize in advance. This is probably gonna be a little jump around everywhere. I can elaborate a little bit more in other videos. You feel me? Stay with me. Okay, let's start from the beginning and I'll give you the spark notes, okay? So my family, we are from the Gambia, West Africa. When my parents came to the States in the 90s, they landed in California. That's where I was born. You know, the 90s was rough in Cali, okay? The pay wasn't good. We had friends and family that were in Alaska and they're like, you should come up here. The pay is better and you could raise a family. And my parents were like, yeah, let's go do that. When I was about 1 or 2, we moved to Alaska. I grew up in Anchorage on the east side in the Dune. Muldoon, it's not that deep. Growing up in the Muldoon area definitely shaped the person that I am today. I grew up around a lot of diversity. We went to school with Samoans, Filipino, Hmong, you name it, they was there, okay? You'd be very, very surprised. Alaska in general has military bases, so I'm not gonna say that's what completely brings a lot of diversity, but I would say that's a driving factor. And then you have people like my parents who are like, yeah, let's move to Alaska, sounds great. Growing up specifically Black in Alaska was an interesting experience. I say that because depending on what side of town you lived on would kind of shape your experience in a sense. With a lot of Black people, I really don't remember like in school really being one of the only few Black people in my classes. Now, did it happen? It probably did, but not too often. Now, I'm not gonna say we was all up in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there was sometimes it was sparse, but we was there. But if there wasn't you know, another Black person I could relate to, you got Samoans, you got Filipinos, like we were pretty cool. A lot of people ask me if I experienced racism in Alaska. And let me start off by saying this. I'm not gonna say there's no racism in Alaska because them motherfuckers be racist, all right? The thing is that I primarily stayed on the east side of town where it was more diverse. So like, I don't really remember really facing a lot of racism. Microaggressions, absolutely. They love a good microaggression. I definitely faced that. I think there was like one incident that I remember when I was a kid. We went to Denny's, we weren't seated, everybody else was seated before us, and of course everybody was white. Like, that's one of the real like memories that I have of that. But everything else was microaggressions, the like, oh, you live in a 2-parent household, oh, you live in 2-story home, oh, your dad's in your life, like, you know, shit like that. If you ask my friends on other sides of town, they're gonna tell you a different experience. Now, colorism, that was rampant. Yeah, and unfortunately, it was from other Black people and people of color.